Going on, YouTubers? This is Buddy coming at you with a quick video. Just wanted to talk about how I got started, a little background on me, how I got started in the saltwater hobby. I've always had freshwater tanks when I was a kid, growing up through junior high and high school. Had a lot of Oscars. I had a 55-gallon Oscar tank for quite a long time. My first freshwater tank was like this little small one. It had like a magnifying glass on it. It was more for like kind of like a little scientist kit type thing, and you could really inspect the fish, and I don't know, it was kind of neat. That was like my first one. And then from there I jumped up to a 20-gallon freshwater tank, and I had this huge Oscar in there. And it was kind of funny, and my father got me a 55-gallon aquarium. And so I started with the 55 freshwater, and I had Oscars in there, and I had them for quite a long time, a couple of years. And then I don't know what happened to them. I can't remember, so long ago. We're talking, 17, 18 years ago, something like that. Quite a long time ago. And then I took that 55-gallon aquarium and turned it into a piranha. I had 6 red-bellied piranhas in there. For a long time I had red-bellied piranhas. I had a tank up and going for quite a long time. And I moved out of my parents' house into my own place. And had that tank going for quite a while, and then I think I ended up giving it to my brother or something like that. It's been so long I can't even remember. And then so I didn't have a fish tank for probably about 2 years, and I was really looking to get another fish tank, and I was going to go freshwater because I never always wanted to go saltwater, but always heard it was really hard to do, and I really didn't have the time or anything like that. So one day my little brother called me and he said, "Hey, I got this 14-gallon BioCube. It's a saltwater aquarium, all-in-one aquarium. Are you interested in it?" And I got it from a friend. Not a friend. He got it from one of his wife's family members. They kind of gave it to him or something like that. So I went over and I got it, and picked it up, and I had that tank for about a month. And needless to say, I ended up tearing it down. I had no idea what I was doing at all. The algae was really bad in there. Bristleworm and fireworm galore. I mean, I've never seen a tank so overrun by fireworms and bristleworms. The algae was completely out of control. I had no idea what I was doing. I ended up tearing that tank down and giving it to my other little brother that I have so many little brothers. I ended up giving it to him, and he actually still has that tank to this day. So my next tank, right after that, immediately, I went out on Craigslist and got a 75-gallon aquarium. It was set up as a freshwater aquarium. I immediately tore it down and turned it into a saltwater aquarium. And I still didn't know what I was doing. I mean, this was back in 2002, I think it was. Back in 2002, 2003, by the time I got that 75-gallon aquarium. And I still didn't really know what I was doing a whole lot. And so, needless to say, me and the little brother I gave the 14-gallon BioCube to went out and we bought bags of live sand. I bought the salt, and we bought a little bit of live rock. And I'm the first one to tell you, always buy your dead rock. Your rock, buy it dead and cycle your tank properly and stuff. But we'll get into all that in other videos. This is basically just an introduction video on how I got started in the saltwater hobby. And so I had that 75-gallon tank. I threw the couple pieces of live rock I had in there. I threw the salt and the sand, and needless to say, I still had a couple of fish left from that 14-gallon BioCube, and I had no idea what I was doing. So, keep this in mind. At the time, I had no idea what I was doing. I put those fish in that tank within 20 minutes after I had it full, after I had the water up to temperature. So it was probably a couple hours after I set it up, I had fish in there. And by some miracle, those fish lived. That was really a painful thing to put them through that cycle process, and I wish I knew what I was doing, because I never would have done that to those fish. I put them in there the same night, just a couple hours later. As soon as I got that water up to temperature, as soon as I got up to about 76 degrees, those fish, I threw them right in there. And I did have some live rock in there, not nearly enough. I probably had 20 pounds of live rock in there. And every week I was going and buying pieces of live rock and adding more and more. And then I finally got the tank full of the amount of rock I needed. Started to learn a little bit about it. didn't know much about which fish to have, and aggressive fish and non-aggressive fish and corals. I just bought pretty looking fish, That's just what I was thinking. I went to the fish store and got fish that were pretty looking and attractive. And, I didn't buy any SBS pieces. That was for years down the road before I got into those. But I did buy some softy corals. I think I bought a colony of zoas. I bought a toadstool. I bought some other soft corals. I don't think I even attempted to buy any LPS corals for that aquarium. It was all soft corals. Keep in mind, I had no idea what I was doing. So at the time, I'm buying these soft corals, and I still had regular T12 bulbs on there from a freshwater aquarium. I had no idea what I was doing. And, so I started to learn about corals and lighting. I started doing some research. I learned about corals and lighting. So I went out and got a power compact light fixture, 48 inches long, 4-bulb power compact light fixture. I think it was Coralife. It might have been Coralife bulbs at the time. They were 50-50 bulbs, 10,000 K with the 420, 460 Arctic Blue, something like that. So long ago, it's hard to remember. So I had that tank up and running for about a year and a half. It wasn't the prettiest tank. It wasn't very nice. There was some algae issues. I had no protein skimmer on it. Had all hang-on back equipment, which is fine. You can run a successful tank with hang-on back equipment. And I did. There's levels of success, and that was really my first real saltwater tank. So I was not that successful. I did have corals growing. Did have fish staying alive. Did I lose some things? Absolutely. I probably lost about $2,000 worth of stuff, I just had no idea what I was doing. Water parameters, I didn't know anything about it. I was just I was more or less just diving in feet first, not doing the research that I needed, and I was finding out things the hard way. Didn't know anything about protein skimming, didn't know anything about RODI water, I knew nothing about none of it. So I ended up moving out of that place, and I sold the tank off. I did keep all the live rock. I did take all the live rock, and I had a 36-gallon hexagon aquarium that was in my closet. Had it for quite a while. Nice tractive stand, and the place that I was moving into I didn't have the room for the 75-gallon. But I wanted to stay into the hobby. I was so infatuated with it, and you'd think I would have done more research, but I didn't. So I set up that 36-gallon hexagon aquarium, and some of the corals I had, I don't know, they just didn't make it. Still didn't really know what I was doing, They didn't really make it. Ended up turning it into a fish-only aquarium where I did have like a lionfish and stuff. Keep in mind, it's a 36-gallon hexagon aquarium. I had like a good-sized lionfish, maybe a lionfish probably 6 inches in size. Had a couple other fish, and I'm feeding this lionfish, live prey. So, needless to say, ammonia shot up and all my fish died. I didn't have a protein skimmer on there. And so then I started, oh my God, what I do wrong? Started researching some more. Got a protein skimmer, did 100% water change. Then I realized, about cycling aquariums. I started learning a lot more. So I let the aquarium cycle with nothing in it. Then I started buying some soft corals again. And I had like a parent clownfish in there. Started realizing about nitrates and phosphates. I started to kind of understand a little bit more about the hobby. I didn't know a whole lot. And like I said, I dove in feet first. And then, so I had that 36-gallon hexagon up for quite a while. And then, so I moved over to a 48-gallon bow front, which I got from my other brother. He gave me a 48-gallon bow front. And then I started working for a store called Upstate Corals. And that's when I really learned a lot about the hobby. Keep in mind, this was over many years, up to where we are today. It's been 12 years. So I learned a lot over those years. And I also lost a lot of money, too. And that's why I made this YouTube channel, to try to help people, especially people that are getting into the hobby, not to do and make the mistakes that I made. So I started working for the saltwater store, Upstate Corals, down in Schenectady, and I learned a lot. And that's where I really started to learn about water parameters, maintaining calcium and alkalinity and magnesium. Started learning how to frag corals, learning really about nitrates and phosphates and how they work, and how all this stuff plays a huge role in coral health and water quality and fish health. And really learned a lot about the hobby. So that 48-gallon bow front quickly took off. I started knowing what I was doing, maintaining proper calcium levels, and maintaining good water quality, knowing about lighting, proper, PAR, photosynthetic active radiation. Started learning about UV spectrum for corals, and I just learned tons of stuff. And I had to learn it fast because people come in there and ask me questions. I had to know the answers, and I had to give them the right answer. I couldn't just make something up. I mean, I had to know what I was doing. So I did a lot of research. The owner over there, Lisa, she made sure I did a lot of research. She made sure that I knew as much about saltwater as a marine biologist. I knew a lot. So, needless to say, that 48-gallon bow front took off and quickly got packed full of corals. And then, so I bumped up to this aquarium you're looking at here now. Now keep in mind, I had each one of those aquariums for a couple of years, and now I got the 68-gallon bow front, which I've had up and running for about a year and a half now. Moved a lot of the stuff over from that 48-gallon bow front. And one thing that I did know about it, even when I first got into the hobby, when I got into that 75-gallon aquarium, was tank maintenance. And that's one thing I always did, was maintain the rock properly as far as, and I explained that in video, reef tank maintenance #1. And this live rock you're looking at here today, I've had this live rock for 12 years. It's not a nitrate or phosphate factory. This little island over here, there's 3 little pieces right there that are new. You'll see them, they're a little whiter. But, and I still have some more left out of that bigger aquarium I had. But, that's why I explained that in reef aquarium maintenance #1. Part 1 is to make sure you're cleaning your live rock with a turkey baster, blowing in all the holes and all that stuff. But guys, that's how I got started in the hobby, and that's really how I progressed over the years and learned a lot about it. And, working at that fish store for that year, 2 years that I worked there, whatever it was, I learned a lot about the hobby, and I really wanted to share my knowledge with people. And that's why I made this YouTube channel, to try to help people learn more about it and not make the mistakes that I made. And, be successful and make them realize that this hobby is not very hard. It's not. You can be very successful at hang-on back aquariums. Oh, and keep in mind, each tank I went up, I switched over the filtration. My first 75, my 14-gallon BioCube, everybody knows the filtration on that. And then the 75, I had all hang-on stuff, no protein skimmer, no nothing. And then the 36-gallon hexagon, I went over to a Fuel 405, I think a Fuel 405 canister filter or something like that. I had a canister filter on it, and a small nano skimmer. I had a small nano protein skimmer. And then the 48-gallon bow front was when I had the 65-gallon, or I had a protein skimmer. I started to learn about protein skimming, how important it was, and to oversize your skimmer. So I had a Coral Life protein skimmer, 65-gallon skimmer, rated for a 65-gallon aquarium skimmer. And on that aquarium, when I set it up with a sump, and I did a DIY overflow, which worked out really well. I built that myself, and it worked out really well. And then, then I realized that the best way to do it is to buy an aquarium that's already set up with an overflow box. But over the 12 years, I learned a lot, guys, and I want to share that experience with you, and that's why I made this channel. So I just wanted to give you a little feedback and background on me and how I got started in the hobby. And I hope I hope my videos are educational, and I hope they can help you guys better help you with your aquariums. And if you guys ever need help with your aquariums or help maintaining your aquariums, I have a lot of knowledge, and I can definitely help you out. So leave me a message. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe button. Happy reefing, guys.